Okay, I'm not going to say anything. No, she didn't want to answer any questions about any of that and deferred most of those, if not all of those questions, to her husband, and he will be thoroughly asked about that today. What did he know? When did he know? What did he see? Because there are other people who've come forward publicly, like Kevin Spacey, who thought all of this was very strange and actually a very high risk for a president of the United States or former president.
There are moments in Washington when something happens behind closed doors and everyone pretends it's routine. This wasn't routine. According to someone inside the room, voices were raised. The atmosphere was tense, and when certain names came up, the tone shifted entirely. We're talking about a deposition connected to the Epstein case, and if what's being described is accurate, the footage from that room could ignite a political firestorm the moment it goes public. Here's what we know. Congresswoman Nancy Mace publicly stated the deposition was, her word, combative.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything. No, she didn't want to answer any questions about any of that and deferred most of those, if not all of those questions, to her husband, and he will be thoroughly asked about that today. What did he know? When did he know? What did he see? Because there are other people who've come forward publicly, like Kevin Spacey, who thought all of this was very strange and actually a very high risk for a president of the United States or former president. It's all very bizarre, but I asked her very pointed questions, and you'll see that in the transcript in the video that comes out, and you'll see how she responded as well, screaming.
And we'll close with this. We're going to get the video out as quickly as we can get it uploaded in the sound and everything from yesterday. So this is, for all practical purposes, a public deposition. The American people are going to see it. I've heard C-SPAN's going to air it wire to wire. So everyone's going to see what was asked yesterday. And I think that'll answer a lot of questions, especially with Lutnick and other things like that. Throughout the day, we'll try to send different members out to give you brief updates. We don't want to disclose what's going on in the deposition specifically until after at the conclusion, but we'll keep you updated, and we appreciate everyone being here and look forward to updating you throughout the day. Thank you all.
What do you mean that Hillary Clinton was screaming?
She was unhinged, and I hope that President Clinton is less unhinged today than his wife was yesterday. You'll see it.
Why do you think she had a relationship?
Specifically, when questioning turned to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, she didn't say emotional, she didn't say heated, she said combative. That implies resistance, pushback, frustration, and then she added this: the cameras are rolling. In Washington, that sentence changes everything. Behind closed doors, political figures control the narrative. They rely on transcripts. They issue carefully worded statements afterward. But video? Video tells its own story. If the public sees raised voices, visible frustration, defensive answers, critics will argue it raises serious new questions. If the footage looks calmer than advertised, supporters will say this was political theater from the start. Either way, perception drives the narrative, and timing matters here. This deposition isn't happening in a vacuum. The Epstein case continues casting a long shadow over American political and financial elites. Years after his death, the flight logs, the connections, the social ties, all of it still fuels investigation and speculation. Any new testimony connected to that circle draws immediate national attention. Now add this: Bill Clinton is also expected to testify. That alone guarantees headlines. For years, questions have surrounded public figures whose names appeared in flight logs or social records linked to Epstein. And this is an important distinction. Being mentioned is not the same as wrongdoing. But politically, association alone can become explosive. That's exactly where we are. There's also a broader dynamic worth watching. When members of Congress publicly preview what happened inside a deposition before any footage is released, they're shaping expectations, priming the audience, building a narrative ahead of the evidence. That's a calculated strategy. If the video matches the description, it reinforces credibility. If it doesn't, it backfires. And in today's environment, both sides are ready for either outcome. But beyond the politics, there's a deeper issue here: public trust. The Epstein scandal damaged confidence in American institutions. Many people believe powerful figures avoid accountability, whether that's entirely fair or not. That belief is real, and it's why these depositions carry so much weight. So when Mace says the cameras are rolling, that's not just a phrase, that's a signal that this could move from private legal proceedings to very public judgment. Here's what people may be missing though: even if the footage shows tension, that alone doesn't indicate wrongdoing. Depositions are stressful by design. Lawyers press hard. Questions repeat. Tone can rise without it meaning anything deeper. But politically, optics are everything. The next few days will be telling. If the footage drops, expect wall-to-wall coverage. If it's delayed, expect speculation. And if it never surfaces at all, expect something worse. Conspiracy theories that fill the void. Because once a public official promises transparency, anything less becomes its own story. So we wait. For the footage, for the testimony, and for the reaction. Because in Washington, what happens behind closed doors matters. But what the cameras actually show, that matters more.